Hi grade 7s, welcome to part 2 of lesson 2. In the previous lesson we went through simplifying fractions. In this lesson we're going to go through equivalent fractions. So if you have a look at your notes, equivalent fractions are when a fraction is equal to another fraction. We say the fractions are equivalent. So equivalent means equal. To find equivalent fractions, we must multiply or divide fractions by the same number with the numerator and the denominator. So I'll get there with our examples just now. Let's first have a look at these diagrams. Alright, so in the first diagram we've got two blocks and one of them are shaded in. That means the shaded fraction is 1 over 2. The next one we've got 4 blocks, 2 of them are shaded in. It's still half the shape, but the fraction is 2 over 4, and the same with this, 4 out of the 8 blocks are shaded. So it says here, even though the diagrams look different, we can see that half of each diagram is colored in. So they are all equivalent to the fraction a half. So this is just to show you how we can show equivalent fractions. Even though the blocks look different, the same amount is colored in. Alright, now we move on to some examples. So it says, look at the below examples of equivalent fractions. When we want to find the missing number, we need to look at if both the numerators are given or both the denominators. So that's your keywords. So we're going to follow the steps with these examples and then we are going to fill in the missing answers. So if we look at the first one, it says step 1, check if both the denominators or both the numerators are given. Now if that was the missing number, both the denominators were given. Step 2, find which number you had to multiply with or divide by. So the numbers are getting bigger, we know we need to multiply. So if we multiplied 2 with 3, we would get the answer of 6. And fractions, the rule is what we do at the bottom, we need to do at the top. So 1 times 3 would give us the missing number, which is 3. So most important, remember what you do at the top, you must do at the bottom, and what you do on the bottom, you must do on top. Very important. Number 2, we can see the numbers, both the numerators were given. Now, because it's going from a big number to a small number, we know it's dividing. So 12 divided by something had to give us 2. In other words, 2 goes into 12 6 times. So we know it's divided by 6. Again, what we do at the top, we do at the bottom. 18 divided by 6 gives us 3. Now the same thing with number 3. The first one, it didn't tell you which ones are the unknown number, but you can see our first rule, to go from 1 to 3, we know the number is getting bigger. So we're multiplying. And 1 times what gives us 3? It's 1 times 3. Tested at the bottom. 2 times 3 gives us 6. That's correct. Now when we're working with 3 fractions, the easiest one or the easiest way to find your last one, ignore the one in the middle and work from the first to the last. So what do we do to 1 to get to 10? We multiplied by 10. What do we do to 2 to get to 20? We multiply by 10. So our first rule was multiply 3. Our second rule was multiply 10. Now I want you to follow those same steps for number 4 and 5 and quickly calculate the missing answer. I want you to pause this video and press play when you are ready to see the answers. Okay, hopefully you've worked out your answers by now. I'm going to quickly run through. The first one, to get from 4 to 16, you had to multiply by 4. What we do on the bottom, we do on the top. So 6 times 4 gives us 24. So your first missing number was 24. The next one, ignore the middle. We're going from the first to the last. Both denominators were given. The number's getting bigger, so we know it's multiplied by something. 6 times what gives us 66? It's 6 times 11. Do the same thing on the top. 4 times 11 is 44. So your second number is 44. Number 5, both denominators are given. So again, what are we doing to get from 7 to 49? We are multiplying by 7. What you do on the bottom, you must do on the top. 5 times 7 is 35. Right, now the last one, both numerators are given. So what do I do to 5 to get to 45? I had to multiply by 9. So 7 times 9 is 63. So your second missing number is 63. Now, that is how we find missing numbers when we are looking for equivalent fractions. So you look for your rule and you do the same on the bottom and the top. Now moving on over here, it says shade the second model exactly the same and determine the equivalent fractions. So what you're going to now do, you're going to take that and you're going to shade the same amount of space, and then you're going to write the fractions for both. And this just shows you how equivalent fractions work. So I'm going to quickly do that for you. You can pause the video and resume when you're ready to see the answers. Okay, so here I'm busy shading in the correct blocks. You can mark your work, make sure you've shaded in the correct number of blocks or pieces of the circle. Now they want you to fill in the missing fractions. So the first one, there's 1 colored in, there's 3 in total. This one, there's 3 colored in, there's 9 in total. This one, 3 colored in, 12 in total. This one, 1 colored in with 4 in total. This one, 2 colored in, 3 total. This one, 8 colored in, 12 total. So by doing this, we can find our rules. To get from this fraction to this fraction, we had to times by 3. To get from that fraction to that fraction, we had to divide by 3. And to get from this one to this one, we had to multiply by 4. So those are your equivalent fractions. In the following lesson, we will be carrying on with fractions.